Blackadder's exploits in Going Forth will be available on BBC Video next year. And don't forget that his former endeavours have already been recorded for posterity.
This week's Omnibus is a portrait of artist-teacher Tim Rollins and the Kids of Survival, a group of mainly Hispanic teenagers from the South Bronx who've discovered the power of art.
A lot of people don't really understand when they meet the kids because they're just so outgoing and so articulate and so warm. They don't really understand that one of the great achievements of our project is that many of these kids were classified as learning disabled.
We can do real art too.
The Art of Survival, Omnibus, tomorrow at 10:20 on BBC1.
Smith & Jones have Second Thoughts in small doses over on BBC2 in just over 5 minutes. Here on One, a mutual friend needs Cagney and Lacey's moral support at 11 o'clock when she has second thoughts about letting a long-running trial continue to drag her through the courts.
Good evening and welcome to Question Time, an hour of spontaneous debate and argument before a cross-section of the public on matters which they find of interest and concern. Around the table with me tonight are Eric Forth MP, who is Parliamentary Under-Secretary at the Department of Trade and Industry, where he is the Minister for Consumer Affairs. Mr. Forth was brought up in a Glasgow tenement and at school was a communist. In the House of Commons, his voting record alone has now established him as one of the most dedicated Thatcherites. Friend and foe alike have marked out Eric Forth as another Norman Tebbit. Anne Taylor MP has just confounded most of the parliamentary pundits. One of Labour's most able and experienced spokespersons, it was regarded as little more than a formality that yesterday she would be elected to one of 3 new places for women in Labour's shadow cabinet. She missed out by just 4 votes to others noticeably to the left of herself. Anne Taylor was a parliamentary private secretary to the Secretaries of State for Education and Defence in the last Labour government, and this year has been leading Labour's campaign against the privatisation of water. Sir Russell Johnston MP is the deputy leader in the House of Commons of the Liberal Democrats, the party he threatened to quit if they dropped the name Liberal. He speaks for his party on European affairs and has long endeared himself to and occasionally exasperated his friends with his reputation as an independent-minded maverick. He is rapidly, it is said, becoming the grand old man of British liberalism. Ian Hislop has never been called a grand old anything. On the contrary, the columnist Nigel Dempster called him a pushy midget when he was appointed editor of Private Eye 3 years ago. Mr. Hislop's career serving his shadowy proprietor, Lord Gnome, and writing scripts for Spitting Image seemed to be in grave danger this summer when he threatened to turn into a banana outside the High Courts of Justice. However, as is well known, the Court of Appeal subsequently rescinded the record libel damages against his organ, which had driven him to the aforementioned outburst. They're here to answer your questions, the first of which comes from Philip Cantwell, who is a schoolmaster.